Hey everybody, Lieutenant Joe here. We're going to talk a little bit today about an important topic. You know, I went from law enforcement to schools as the director of school safety and security. And when I got there, I realized the culture in a school is completely different than it is in a law enforcement agency. And while we might react with our schools, we don't always interact with them really well. So when I do threat assessments and I do training for schools on active shooter response and safety and security and de-escalation, I do that across the country. And what I find is some agencies are great at interacting and working with their schools. Other agencies, not so much. And you got to figure out how do you get along with your local schools? Do your officers go there? Do they know the inside and the outside of those buildings? If I said to you, hey, go to the science wing of your high school, would every one of your officers know how to get there from outside the building, from different doorways, from inside? Because if there's an emergency, you have an active shooter in the building, and your people don't know how to get around that school and where things are, you're going to cause a delay in time. So one of the things we're looking at here is that our program here is sponsored by Blue 360 Media and Medical Essential Diagnostics. So the reason we mention them, it's important. Blue 360 Media has everything for publication for law enforcement, all kinds of manuals. My books are there, the interview, the investigation. Those things are available on there, but there's tons and tons of material for law enforcement to help you be better at what you do. So blue360media.com. You want to go there and check them out. The other one is medicalessentialdiagnostics.com. All right, what they do is they offer you a soup to nuts screening on your health, your heart, your breathing, all the important things that'll keep you alive through your career, and then so you can enjoy your retirement. And it's at no cost to you. You go there and you give them your insurance or your wife's insurance or whatever you use. And if anything isn't covered, they cover the rest of the cost. So there's no out of pocket for you. And at the end of the day, you've done all the tests. They send it to your doctor and find out if you got something. Maybe you caught it early. And if you have nothing, you can be confident and stay healthy. So go check out our sponsors and hit that like and subscribe button. Right? A lot of you are listening and sending me emails, but hit the like and subscribe so that we can stay together here. Right? Along that line, you can see in the front here, www.pangarotraining.com. That's where you find our training classes. And if you want to email me, it's joe@pangarotraining.com. Pretty simple. Right? Because I got people sending them to my business address and other places. So that's how you get me. So one of the things we're talking about with this active shooter training is that I see lots of places, lots of schools and businesses who do mediocre to poor drills. They don't do drills of value. They do a drill. You know, it's on a checkbook. We have to check it off. We did our lockdown drill. If there's ever an event in the school that you are in charge of keeping safe, you're going to make sure your cops know what to do and the schools know what to do, and it's the best chance for people to survive. So the thing that I've talked about is that time equals life. The faster they can lock down, the faster they can get secured or flee or whatever it is they're going to do, the better chance people have of surviving. The better your officers are at responding, the faster they can respond, the better off everyone's going to be. So what to do that, to help out, I've created a program that we call Running Drills of Value. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. It's available to anybody. You email me, Joe@PangaroTraining, and you ask me for it, and I will email it to you. There's no cost to it. So I'll show you that in a second. But we put out our list of spring classes for Pangaro Training. And the first one up is March 18th. It's a Planning the Active Shooter Drill. This is a Train the Trainer program. So I'm going to teach you how to run a drill of value, what you should be looking at, what you should be concerned with, so you can help keep your schools safe. One of the great things about this class on March 18th is that it is fully online. You know, you don't have to leave headquarters. You don't have to leave your house. You can just pop online. We send you the link and you take the training, right? So March 18th, Planning the Active Shooter Drill, Train the Trainer program. Tell your training officer about it. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to try and share my screen. I'm going to tell you a little bit about running a drill of value. Let's see. All right, so everybody sees this here, right? All right, I'm sharing my screen. That's fantastic. Right, can you share it? I'm sharing my screen, so I'm going to say that you can all see this. That's great. So one of the things that we look at is trauma-informed drills for safety and security. The document that I send you gives you all the points that you need to understand about running a drill of value. It shows you, let's get in here. Running a drill of value. Practice can save lives, right? You see that? Trauma-informed practices. And let's see what we get. Here's what we're going to cover. Why run an actual drill? Why run a drill better than just, all right, everybody lock down and we check it off our thing? Pre-team meetings, pre-drill team meetings between law enforcement and the schools. Very important. Identifying areas of concern, identifying goals. Every drill you run, whether it's for your officers or for the schools, there should be a goal in that drill. You want to see how your officers can react. So one of the drills we used to do is they would run to the front door of the high school, right? Well, there's a lockdown drill and the cops would go there and they go through the front door like most people would do. Well, after we did it for a while, one of the things we decided was, let's figure out what if there was a problem at the front door? So what if the doors were chained shut? What if the shooter got in there and put a bomb there? You know, the officers would have to think on their feet and added an element of realism to the training. So we did that. I had them run up to the door and realize they couldn't get in. Now they had to figure out another way to get in the building. Do your officers do that? Right. So we're going to talk about that. How do we initiate the drill? How do you start it off? What are you going to do? Making observations during the drill, what you should be looking for to help the schools understand how they could be better. Right? The length of the drill, how long should it be? 2 minutes? Is it check off? They just want to do it, lock down on a Tuesday at 3:00. We lock down and then we're done. That's not a lot of value there. There's no realism. There's no real practice. And this is where you need to help your schools. Who calls the drill? Is it only the principal, or can anybody who sees danger put the school in lockdown or the business in lockdown, however you want to do this, right? Using a tabletop scenario to enhance the value of the drill. Maybe you do a little tabletop with your officers before you do the school drill and figure out a couple of scenarios that might happen, something that might come up. Creating a plan to address any problems observed during the drill. So you want to figure out, okay, when we see that this doesn't work out well, how do we go back then and address that? So someone has to be taking notes and using the right technology to help the lockdown process. And then after drill meetings, you got to get together. We want to go over this. We want to do a hot wash of the whole thing. What happened? Who did it right and wrong? Do you use a role player to initiate the thing? Do you do it live? Do you do it with the students in there? You do it without them in there? These are all important things to try and understand. All right. Elements of a good drill: preparation, having your concerns, what they are, the action of the drill, and then the after action debriefing. Very important parts of the drill. Preparation, creating your drill team. Is it all your officers? You're going to give them any training? Do you go over the policy, the procedure, active shooter response? You do all that stuff before you do the drill. We cover pre-preparation needs. Has the school had an assessment? Do you work well with the school? Do your officers go in there? Do they know the place inside and out? You want to find that out. All right. Preparation and planning. Who calls the drill? I've gone in a lot of times and they say anybody can call a lockdown in our school if they see danger. So, okay, let's go to a classroom. Tell the teacher, hey, put the school in lockdown. And while the principal or the superintendent might think that everybody knows what to do because they've told them what to do, they don't always know what to do. The phones don't work. They're not sure how to do it. You want to know that they know how to do things so that they can help keep those kids safe. That's part, right? We talk about preparation of the drill, how the drill unfolded, how the emergency equipment we used worked. Did the officers perform properly? Did they get in and out? Goals, right? What are the goals? So some of the goals can be, how did it get activated? Was it a teacher? Was it someone else other than the principal or whoever? How long does it take for a full lockdown? So each drill that you run, you want to have a goal. So maybe your goal is to see how fast your officers can get in if they can't get in through the front door. Where did they choose? How long did that take them? You might want to see how long did it take for the school to fully go into lockdown. So if there's somebody in that hallway and they're shooting at people, how long does it take for those people to get themselves safe, get behind those doors and lock down? So whatever it is, you want to come up with a goal for your drill so you can evaluate it and see how well it went. All right. Concerns, what we should consider for our plan. Compliance and rules practice. Is that something we're going to look at? Do your officers know your policy? Right? Do they follow that policy? So there's all kinds of things that we cover in this document. And that's what I'm telling you. If you want it, just email me and I will send it to you. All right, so there's something I get asked this question all the time. All right, Lieutenant, what should we be looking for? How do we figure this out? There's so much to help these schools with to learn. I broke it down to what I call the 3 pillars of survival. So the first pillar of survival is preparation, your planning, your practice, your equipment, your drills, doing things. That's getting yourselves and the schools or your businesses in town ready. Communication then. How does everybody in that building tell everybody else that there's danger? So if a teacher's on the second floor and they see a kid approaching the school with a rifle, how does that teacher tell everybody in that building, we better lock down now? Are they allowed to do that? Right. So you want to consider that. And then the third pillar of survival is notification. How do they call for you, for the good guys and the good girls with the guns to come there and help them? Do they have an emergency notification system? Do they use a push button? Or are they calling 911? Who's going to make that call? So there's important things for you to look at. All right, and then we go into the action once the drill gets started, what you should be looking for, your after action report, right? I'm just going through this here. So there's a question, and here's a question you should ask yourselves, your leadership team, and everybody. We know that the number of active shooter events in schools has doubled since the pandemic days. Now we're having between 40 and 55, 60 real active shooter drills, not gangbangers running across the parking lot shooting at each other, but real someone attacking the school or a kid popping up in class with a gun and killing his classmates. And so the question you have to ask is, when and where will the next one take place? Now, I've been asking this for 15 years when I teach these and I go out and do these lectures all over. No one has ever been able to raise their hands. So you might say, I'm in a rural area. I'm in an urban area. It never happens here. You can say that. That's what I call the most dangerous thing in the world to say. The reality is, since nobody can tell me when and where the next active shooter event's going to take place, while the statistics might be low because there's 200,000 schools and there's only 50 school shootings, God bless us that there's that many and people lose their lives, but 50 into 200,000, really very small, chances are low. But we don't know when and where it's going to happen, which means in reality, it's really 50-50, isn't it? It happens to your schools or it doesn't. It happens in your businesses or it doesn't. The key is to be aware of this and to prepare. So that's really the whole idea. I'm going to stop sharing this now. Let's see if we get all of this to work here. Stop sharing. Hey, back to Lieutenant Joe. All right, so I give you my email, joe@pangarotraining.com. If you have questions, if you want this document, just reach out. I'll email it to you. It'll be there in 5 minutes. And then sit down with your team and your schools and figure out how you're going to help keep them safe. This is an important topic. I hope you picked up something out of this, and we'll be back before you know it. And don't forget our sponsors, Blue 360 Media and Medical Essential Diagnostics. They bring the Blue Heart podcast and webcast to you. All right. I think that's it for today. We'll talk to you soon.